Okay, so today, let's go ahead and go over the warm up. So, you guys should have grabbed a calculator. And so, what we're going to do is, again, we always go straight to the question. Okay, and it's asking for slope intercept form. So, when we have slope intercept form, that's going to be y equals mx plus b. Well, whenever you see a table, you should be thinking list in spreadsheets, right? So, that's one thing you could have done was list in spreadsheets. All right, and when you do that, it's going to give you your M and it's going to give you your B, okay? Again, I know we can do list in spreadsheets, however, we don't always have the calculator, so my job is to be able to show you how to do it by hand, okay? So you can get your slope, which is your change of y, which is my y, over my change of x, all right? So my change of y is going to be over my change of x. So how do I get from 10 to 4? Well, negative 10 to negative 4. So I'm actually going towards positive. So if I do negative 10 plus 6, does that get me negative 4? It sure does. So I'm going to do plus 6. So my change of y is 6. And then how do I get from negative 6 to negative 2? Excuse me. I should be able to add 4, and that gets me to negative 2. So this is 4. Again, I'm going to simplify that. 2 can go into both of these. So then that's going to be 3 over 2. So that is going to be my M. Okay, so it's going to be a positive 3 over 2. Now, if you did list in spreadsheets, it gave you 1.5. When you do that, you have to do 1.5. You do 1.5 in your calculator. Then you're going to go to menu. Then you're going to go to number because you're trying to manipulate your number. And then you're going to go to approximate to fraction, right? So that's going to be how you go and make it into a fraction, right? Now I have to find my y-intercept. So I have y equals mx plus b. This is going to be the M that you found, so you're going to place it in the place of M. You can pick any X and Y. Again, I'm just going to pick the first ones, or better than anything, I'm going to pick positive ones, right? So this is going to be my X. I'm going to put in my X. This is going to be my Y. I'm going to put it where my Y is at, and I'm going to look for my B. So then I have 5 is equal to 3 over 2. My X is 4 plus B. Okay, again, all they are is just going to be the same numbers that I had decided to pick, right? So that's my here, and then this is all the same thing. So from here, you are going to solve it out. Again, we have 3 over 2 times 4 over 1. When I multiply fractions, right, this is going to give me 12 over 2, which is actually 6. So 5 equals to 6 plus B. That's a positive 6. Inverse of positive 6 is negative 6. So 1 is equal to B. So that's going to go here, which y'all should have gotten for list in spreadsheets here. Okay. Now here it says which statement is true. So to recap, parallel lines have no solutions. Okay. When they cross and they're perpendicular, that's one solution. Okay. Infinite many solutions is when they are the exact same equation. Again, there are many ways to solve this, okay? What you could have done is set them both equal to y, graph it, and analyze graph. If I do that, right, I'm going to take 3x plus 6y equals 24. I have to move the x and divide by the number in front of y because I'm going to set them both into slope-intercept form, because they're in standard form. And then divide by 6, y is equal to, I'm going to simplify that. 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 6 two times, x, and then 24 divided by 6, that's going to be 4. So what you could have done was taken this one, then you would have graphed it, right? Then you would have clicked tab, or I guess let me rewind if you're actually writing these notes down. You click graph, and then you click enter, if I can spell, excuse me, and then you click enter, right? Then it gives you a graph. Then you're going to click tab. And when you click tab, it's going to give you another option. Y equals, you put the second graph, negative 0.5x plus 4. Then you're going to click enter. When you do that, it's going to give you two graphs. If you can't see where they cross, then you need to zoom out. From there, you're going to go to menu. You analyze the graph. And then you're going to look if they intersect. Right? Which they if you're really looking at it, right? What can you tell about the slopes? They're the what? The same. So really and truly, this is where you guys have to slow down and realize you didn't have to graph them at all. Okay? So when they have the same slope, they are going to be parallel. Remember, opposite side and reciprocal, that was going to be perpendicular. So when they are parallel, they never touch. So when they never touch, it can't have one solution. It can't have two solutions. It can't be infinite. So it's going to be no solutions because they are parallel and never touch. Okay. So again, had you seen that, you would have seen that you don't even have to graph them. Okay. So that's that one. Now here it's asking for what is the domain. Domain is your x. It goes left to right. So again, you're going to take the left point and you're going to go down. That takes you to -2. So this is wrong because it's not -2. This is wrong. It's not -2. This is wrong because it's not -2. So therefore D is your answer. But again, to prove, it's going to go to 3 and there you go. And then this one. What rule is it? You have to figure out, is it the quotient rule? Quotient means it's a fraction. A fraction means to divide. So yes, it's going to be ds. Okay, I'm going to divide my bases when they are different, which they are. So I have -20 over -10, which is 2. And then I am going to subtract my exponents, variable to variable. C, 7 minus 2. And then I'm going to do B, 3 minus 4. And then I'm going to rewrite it. 2C, 7 minus 2 is 5. 3 minus 4 is -1. Again, that's technically not my final answer. It's all over 1. I need to get rid of this negative exponent. So 2C to the 5th over B to the 1. Now, for the notes. So we do have to do a little bit of reading. So it says, as part of a project in health class, Viviana, Logan, and Emily are raising awareness and challenging others to eat healthy breakfast each morning. Today, they sent selfies of themselves eating a healthy breakfast to 4 friends and challenged them to do the same the next day. The next day, when the others send selfies to themselves eating a healthy breakfast, it will be considered day 1 of their results. The following day, those contacted will send selfies to 4 friends, and it will continue. Assume everyone contacted completes the challenge and you participating are contacted each day. So let's break that down. How many people did we start with? So how many people did we start with? So when it first started, how many people? Well, we have 1, 2, 3. So we started with 3 people. So that would actually be my y-intercept because my y-intercept is where I start. Okay? And remember, to recap, exponential, my equation is y equals a parenthesis b with an exponent of x. Right? So that's going to take us to number 1. It says write an exponential function. Well, f of x, we just found my y-intercept, which is 3. Well, then what is going to be my constant rate of change? Not my rate of change. My constant ratio, excuse me, meaning how it changes every single time. Well, this 4 friends is going to be my b, because that's how many times they are changing. So 4 and then an exponent of x. So again, we started with 3 people, so that's my y-intercept, and every time they are going to, the constant ratio, which we talked about yesterday, is going to be 4. So it's going to be multiplying by 4 every single time. And that's going to show it here on the table, because 12 times 4 is going to be 48, and that works. Now, is 48 times 4 going to equal 192? Good so far. And then does 192 times 4 equal 768? It sure does. And so that's how you know it works. Okay. So then again, my constant ratio, which we talked about yesterday, is the b. So then r, which is equal to b, is equal to 4. Okay. Now here, day 0. So meaning our y-intercept, what we started with. How many new participants, right? So there wasn't any new participants because, again, when we first started, we started with 3 people. Okay, so that's going to be day 0. Okay, so, because if you notice here, it starts with day 1. So day 0, it's going to be 3 participants because it is my y-intercept, or the initial, what we started with. So it says if the number of new participants in day 0 is repeated, right, day 1 can become this equation. Complete the table. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and take a look. We're given this, right? We said day 0 is 3. Well, this is going to be x plus 0. We just don't write the 0. We write the 1, it's just an invisible one, but 0 we never, ever, ever write. Okay, so my 1 is connected to here. So then for 2, it's going to be x plus 2 because that's my second term. Then I'm going to write my function form, which is f x plus 2. And then again, you're kind of looking to see what the patterns are that you see. Equals AB, your exponent is x plus 2. Follow the same pattern, x plus 3. Then you have f x plus 3, AB, and then x plus 3. So with 4, it's going to be the exact same thing. F x plus 4. And then you're going to fill out this side over here. Okay, you're like, okay, but how does this make sense? Like, what is it telling me, right? Well, we're going to kind of make the connection between the constant ratio and, again, how it goes to our b, right? So yesterday I told you can do second term over first term, right, to find what our b is. That's exactly what we are going to do. We are going to take our second term over our first term, but we always only focus on the y. So I am going to take my second term over my first term, but I'm going to do it more mathematically to show you whenever you solve it out, it's always going to equal your b. So my second term is this equation. So I'm going to write it down, f x plus 2 equals, AB x plus 2. I guess we should more highlight this one versus the other one. My apologies. And then my first term is going to be this equation. So over f x plus 1, which is my first term, equals AB x plus 1. Now, this goes into a little bit of the law of exponents where I'm going to divide and subtract because this is a fraction. But again, we're trying to show that it equals b, right? So this is a quotient. A quotient means to divide and subtract exponents, okay? Well, in normal division, my a's would cancel out, right? Because, well, I guess let me show you more mathematically, right? A, my exponent is 1. So you would do A, 1 minus 1, right? And B, you would do x plus 2 minus x plus 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. B, right? So we're going to go ahead and subtract, which x minus x cancels out. And 2, oops, sorry. I wrote that down wrong. Forgive me, guys. Let me go back. Okay, let me go back. I should have only canceled out the x. My apologies. Because when you distribute, this really becomes x plus 2 negative x minus 1. That's what happens when we get lazy. So that was my fault. I was trying to take a shortcut. I should have put parentheses around this. So when you distribute, it becomes that. Now you can see your x's cancel out. And then 2 minus 1 is just 1. Look, I tell y'all not to be lazy, and look what I was doing. I got lazy. Right? Well, anything to the power of 0 is 1. Right? So a to the power of 0 is going to be 1. And I am left with just b to the 1, which is just b. Okay? So again, I really wanted to do this so you can see kind of again how connected, but more than anything to also practice that quotient rule. Okay, now here, go ahead and we're going to flip. Okay, now the last thing that you guys are going to do is we are going to go ahead and fill this out. It says a magician is practicing one of his tricks. As far as the trick, he cuts a rope into many pieces, puts it back together. He starts with a 10-foot rope. He begins with a 10-foot rope. So because that's where he starts, okay, your A is going to be 10, which is your y-intercept. Whenever you have a y-intercept, right, because your y-intercept is 10, when you write it as a coordinate, your x is always 0 and your y is the number. So that's going to be here. Then he cuts it in half. So every single time he's going to cut it in half. So that's going to be my common ratio, which is also my b, which is 1/2. So that means 10 times 1/2 is going to get me the next number. Or really and truly, what's half of 10? 5. Then you're going to do times 1/2, meaning what is half of 5? I don't want a decimal. So if you do 5 divided by 2, it's going to give you a decimal, which is not what I want. Keep it a fraction, which again, 5 divided by 2 just stays 5/2. Okay. Now to plot the point, if you need to change it to a decimal, that's fine. But, which we know is 2.5. But again, I'll just let you make that determination. Times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. half. Okay. So then this is going to be, I'm sorry. So this is going to be 5 over 4. Again, if you need to change it to decimal, that's fine. For the sake of the notes, 5 over 8. And then it's going to be 5 over 16. Okay. What I want you guys to do is you are going to plot these points on the table. You are going smaller, so it should be going down. Your y-intercept should be the easiest, which is 0, 10. Then you go 1 to 5, and you kind of go down a little bit from there. Okay? So now we can write our equation. Also from the table. Anytime you're given a 0, that's easy. That's your y-intercept. So my function, LC, which is what it told us to use, equals my A is 10, and then my B is 1/2, and X. Now, exponent X. Remember yesterday I told you if it is bigger than 0 and less than 1, it's a decay. Right? It's a decay. Okay. Now, you're going to answer number 3. And the way you can do that is you are going to use your calculator and substitute. Again, this is 1/2. It wants to know for the 7th cut. That means X equals 7. So you're going to substitute that in your equation. Now, what you're going to do here is you're going to write an equation for each of these. I already told you from a table, anytime you're given 0, that is your A. Okay, so you guys can figure that out. Figure out what your common ratio is on these tables. Because again, you're given where it's 0. The table, remember when you draw your car, this is going down. When you draw your car, this is going down. Order matters. Okay, so you're going to take a table. Your first point you hit when you are going down is this one. So this is your first point. So that's the one you're going to write down, which is 0, 4. Hello, look at that. You have a y-intercept. The second one you're going to write down is this one, which is 1, 2. So what you're going to do is find the common ratio and then write your equation. Okay, so for example, from 4 to 2, you do times 1/2. If you're like, well, I want to make sure, then your next point, which is 3, which is right here, is 2, 1. Does that work? Yes, it does. So your equation would be f of x equals, my A is 4, my ratio or my base is 1/2, and x. And that's it. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the next 3 on your own.